Jared Falk.
Hi.
And today we're going to do a lesson on how to make your cheap drum set sound amazing. And so we're going to show you how to make your drum set go from sounding like this to sounding like this.
This drum set cost us $125. Exactly how I got it, all the hardware, all the cymbals, all the drum heads, they're original, it looks like.
Yeah, oh yeah.
No one took the time to replace them.
No.
And so what we're going to do is run you through 3 separate tips that are really going to help your drum set sound better. Now, whether you have a cheap drum set or even a high-end drum set, these tips are going to be very, very applicable to you.
Yeah.
The first tip we want to talk about is tuning.
For me, the most important thing is just getting the head in tune with itself, because I feel like you can get away with a lot if you can do that. Let's see.
I would
just like a half a turn.
Go all the way around a half turn. Yeah. So what do we got here?
Let's see what this sounds like.
So now that we're going to start pitch matching the lugs, what we need to do is kind of have a starting point. So basically what I do is I just choose a lug. And so let's choose this one right here. So tap it beside it. That's going to be our starting point. Now we're going to try and match everything to this pitch. And now we can decide if we want to go higher or lower. But let's just put on the snare wires, hit it, and see how it sounds. So we've lost a lot of those overtones.
Yeah.
So I think we're at a good point where we could actually flip the drum over, tune the bottom head a lot tighter. I would always tune the bottom head on the snare tighter than the top head.
Yeah, same here.
And then we can again fine tune the batter side head.
Yeah. I think you can sit here. I'll spectate.
Now one thing we can do here is this is a trick I learned. Just put this underneath here so we can actually.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Put it in tune with itself. So I've got it close to being in tune with itself. Now I'm going to go around the whole head and do around a quarter turn just to bring it up even a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's hear how it sounds. Oops. Sounds a lot better.
A lot better.
I would bring it up just a tiny bit more.
I think so.
Okay, listen to the difference.
Yeah.
And so I think this is good. I think this is sounding, a heck of a lot better.
Yeah, so much better. Yeah.
Okay, so let's move to the toms, and we're just going to go through one tom here, and then we're going to let you guys figure out all the other toms by yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's hear this.
That sounds interesting. It's an acquired taste.
Okay, so in this case, what I would do is I would start completely fresh with the toms. So what I mean by that is loosen everything off completely. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten them as tight as I can go with my fingers.
Yeah.
Now I'll go around once, just do a quarter turn.
Okay.
Then we're going to do. This is kind of like the quick path to getting the head in tune with itself.
Yeah.
What you were talking about, which I think is great. And then go around and actually tension it.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about the relation between the top head and the bottom head. What do you like?
Let's be really controversial. Let's say there's only one way. No, that's not true. It depends on, oh gosh, so many things. What I like to do is the bottom head a little bit tighter than the top head.
Yeah.
But really, you guys, this comes down to personal preference. Where you want the note to bend, how full you want the drum to sound. It depends on exactly what you want. There's tons of different things you can do.
Yeah. In this case, we're just going to tune it a little bit higher than the top head. Okay, so the bottom head a little bit higher. So this is a tiny bit higher than the bottom head.
Yeah.
It's not, it's not perfect. It's not like the drum set you're used to playing. But this kit, those toms and that snare sounds 10 times better.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to the bass drum now, which is the final thing we're going to be tuning and tweaking. With the bass drum, it's going to be very simple. We have this pillow that actually came with the drum set, and we're going to keep it away from us.
No, don't do that. I don't know where that's been.
So what we're going to do is we're going to lay this inside of the bass drum like this. I'm going to get a part of this to touch the resonant head and part of it to touch the batter head. So as far as tension, it's just a little bit tighter, or finger tighten, and then tighten until you get rid of all the ripples. And it's not very tight, not nearly like a tom or a snare drum.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go around to the batter side. And we're going to do a similar thing. We're going to loosen off the tension. Okay, so finger tighten. Get rid of the ripples. Yeah, again, it's similar tension to the reso head. And here, now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tap around the edge. All right, so I have the bass drum tuned, and we've got a little bit of muffling in there. So let's hear how it sounds.
Sounds so much better.
Unbelievable how
goodness.
much of a difference that makes.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing when I'm listening to you play is I'm hearing some of those overtones that a lot of us hear when we're playing our drums. And then we watch your videos, which are, you spend hours mixing them, miking and tuning, and the drums just sound unbelievable.
Totally.
And so we're going to kind of do the same thing, but we're going to do it in a little bit different way. So we're going to be using this.
Oh, nice.
I wanted to keep this. Obviously, I don't recommend putting toilet paper or tape on your drums. If you can get drum gum or moon gel or some...
Or just decent heads, and you just tune them right, yeah.
If you can, but we wanted to do things in a way where it's just easy for you to find some household items.
Yeah, exactly.
Basic household items, and get rid of some of these overtones in your drum. Okay, so...
Look, the snare sounds kind of good.
It has a little bit of these overtones on it, and...
Oh, yeah.
So what I would do is I would just actually, probably around 3 inches, okay, so don't stick it on there yet. Like that. And I get another piece of tape.
Okay.
This is from being in the studio a lot, trying to adjust and optimize the drum sound. So then put this there, and I put that over it.
Okay, so let's stick this on here.
Yeah, exactly.
So you basically just make a little square.
Yeah.
And then stick that in the middle. Okay.
Yeah, if this is not enough, then we have to go to toilet paper, which is unfortunate. You don't want to have to go to toilet paper.
Oh, yeah. That sounds rad.
Yeah. So what I would suggest doing is probably doing this on each of those toms.
Okay.
Just a small piece. And that's on the floor tom. Because the floor tom rings quite a bit more, what I like to do is just take a little thing of toilet paper and do the exact same thing, fold it into a tiny square. This is going to absorb more of those vibrations. We don't want to get rid of everything on the toms just because they're smaller drums. This is good because if you need to go to the bathroom, you can just go to the bathroom.
You rip off the tape, and you're good to go.
Hey man, you got any emergency TP? I really need to go.
Oh gosh.
So put that on the edge. What I wouldn't suggest doing is tape it in the middle of the drums, like just like putting this tape everywhere. And
unless you want to go for like that really old school 70s dead dry sound, but.
Right. So now, what I suggest doing is play a little bit and see how much better it sounds. I guarantee you it's going to sound, again, 10 times better.
so much better.
It sounded like a really good drum set.
It totally does.
Okay, so the final thing and most important thing with making your drum set sound better. This is where you come in, buddy.
This is the biggest thing.
Okay? This is where you shine, is because this is how you play it.
Totally. And the biggest thing for me is this is extremely natural. This isn't something that you can, that's one quick decision and then it's gone. Because if you start playing, obviously you're very new to the instrument and it does take a while. But I think the biggest thing in the beginning is the lack of consistency. So somebody would hit the drum in the center, which is where you want to hit the drum, and it would sound really good. But then when they do something that's a little bit outside of their comfort zone, which in the beginning is everything, then you kind of veer away from the middle of the drum. And so then it starts, you start getting these really irritating overtones because you're moving away from the center of the drum. So I think that's a big thing, especially with regards to the toms. Like if you do fills, then you kind of go closer to the edge and you get these overtones. So I think consistency in terms of where you're hitting the drums is huge. The next thing I would say is confidence.
Yeah.
A lot of guys don't play with conviction, and confidence does not mean playing louder. It means playing with conviction, and you know what you're playing, and it means playing with consistency. It's amazing how big of an effect those things have on the tone of the drums, because you need to be in command of the drum set. If you're not being in command of the drum set, then it's going to sound that way to people listening to you, in terms of groove, in terms of tone, everything.
Yeah. Another really, really important thing is the volume in which you're hitting different pieces of the kit. A lot of new drummers
mixing yourself.
Yeah. They hit the hi-hats way too hard, the bass drum way too quiet, and the snare way too quiet. And so you get this kind of non-leveled sound, and it's not a sound that people are used to hearing, and so naturally it just doesn't sound good to anyone.
Exactly.
And so can you play a little bit of, I know it's hard for you to do, but can you play a little bit of, not mixing yourself, and then maybe 4 or 8 bars, and then switch to where now you're mixing yourself, you're adding some of those dynamics, some of the ghosting and different types of snare hits, different volumes, crescendos and stuff like that. And just to give them a demonstration of how big of a difference it can make.
Okay, cool.
Now we had a few bonus tips.
We did. Okay. If you have, obviously everything that you've heard up until this point, you can take to the kit right now without spending a dime, which is exactly what this whole lesson is about. If you do have some money saved up and you really want to invest it in the sound of your kit, first thing I would suggest is decent heads, like fresh new heads, tops and bottoms. So then the next thing I would say would be cymbals.
Yeah, cymbals. There's not a lot you can do to tune a cymbal.
Yeah.
So these are the entry-level Sabian cymbals, which are entry-level. The price is entry-level.
Yeah.
Now you can obviously get higher-end cymbals, and the sky's almost the limit on what you can spend. But if you have some money saved up, you could consider adding just one crash cymbal or new ride.
Or especially something that you play a lot, like the hats. I remember the first time I bought proper hats, I was like, the whole kit sounds better now, because this gorgeous tone emanating from the hats kind of influences everything else. It makes it sound like a much more coherent drum set. So I'd say that makes a big difference as well, for sure. Cool. If you guys want some more lessons, there's a link in the description box that you can click, and you can sign up for some more free lessons. I'm going to send it to you into your inbox. No spam, I promise. No questionable pictures, I promise. And just some more free lessons. So just the link is right in the description box right below. And thank you guys so much for the support. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to see you some more videos soon.
See you later.
Cheers.